This took me over 20 hours to draw 12 characters drawn on 2 pages. It's actually been a long time since I've drawn anything, so doing this was actually pain, because I was supposed to draw a full one-shot manga, but that project grew way out of proportion, hence all the advertisements and announcements I did, but I had to cancel it. But I still wanted to draw something, and thus, these 2 characters were born. The inspiration for this piece was actually Bleach. I was just looking through some art to get me motivated. This is a really good way to actually motivate yourself, by the way. Just look at other drawings you really appreciate. And whilst I was doing that, I just came across the old Captain's poster. They look so sick. So I just came up with the idea and everything on the spot. It is hard to draw one full body character, let alone 12, whom all have their different poses, looks, and expressions. This was hell. Plus, I wasn't even warmed up either. I literally just sketched some stuff and that's it. But anyway, I just got started with sketching and at first I just started sketching some stuff. I generally don't sit down and think about designs. I just draw and go with whatever comes to my mind and whatever these lines form, which is kinda a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is because you can just freestyle everything and you draw whatever you want. But when it comes to bad stuff, you'll see what I mean with that later in the video. Sketching this stuff was also the worst and the easiest part of the whole drawing. Worst part because I despise sketching. It is so infuriating. But on the other hand, it was the easiest because I did not know what type of suffering was awaiting me later. I forgot the pain. I know with this video I would inevitably get the question of, oh, what stuff do you use to record and draw with? Well, bro, I am as broke as it comes. I have this 10-cent pen I bought from like this one back alley street. It draws really well. 10 cent. 10 cent. Oh no. Yeah, it does. It draws really well. It is just very cheap though, but it gets the job done. It's really smooth, very clean. I use cheap leftover whiteboard markers I stole from school. It's not even designated paper markers. And my prized possession, something that I actually take pride and joy in, my Faber-Castell mechanical pencil. This is a very sick pencil. It is so good. It is so smooth, it is intricate, it is really comfortable to hold with nice grips, and it's just amazing. Please sponsor me, Faber-Castell. I beg of you, please. I need the money. In my notes, I literally have suck the pen's dick as my jumping off point. To be honest though, line work itself wasn't really too bad with this drawing. I frequently just split between marker and pen, mostly because I'm lazy. You need to be very careful when you're doing thin, intricate line work because if you just fuck up once, it's gonna affect the entire piece. But if you're just doing it with a big marker with big lines, you have a large margin of error. And plus, if you fuck up, you can just cover it with shadows or something as an excuse. And that's something I did a lot with this drawing. But before I forget, I didn't name any of these characters, so if you want to go down to the comments and name any of them, they're up for grabs. Go wild with it. And whilst you're down there, subscribe too. Might as well. So the background of these characters is that all of them are failures. They wanted to achieve greatness, whether that be the history's greatest teacher, magician, or even becoming a high status of symbol like a leader of a nation, or like a crime syndicate mafia boss. All of them were just one step away from achieving it, but failed. So they're just failures, just like everyone watching this channel. So eventually they just found solemn with each other, and decided if they can't be the best in the world, they themselves will become the world. I'm gonna be honest, I just made that line up on the spot, but it sounds so cold, I love it. Originally, I planned them to be just the failed squad captains of Bleach, rather than be not being able to achieve Bankai, or not being suited for the captain role, despite really wanting to be. And, yeah, eventually these characters started to look completely different from Bleach characters, so I just decided to make them my own. This is when proper character design comes into play. Remember when I said that I just designed them as I go along? I don't think ahead? This is where I fucked up. Because these guys are meant to be an entire group of people that share some common goals. But that wasn't really reflected in their designs. They just look completely different. They don't fit with each other. Which was kind of the point, but they need to share some sort of similar trait with each other so that they actually get identified as a squad. So as a result, halfway through I just haphazardly slapped on like a Georgian Choha elements and well, it was, let's just say it was very sloppy. I wonder why. So a pro tip from me, think. Actually think. So when it comes to doing anything in this video, like editing, writing, or filming, I had no fucking idea what I was gonna do. Literally, I just grabbed a dashboard phone holder, some clay, a cup, and made this monstrosity. Modern problems require modern solutions. money's not the only answer. I don't need no filming equipment or tools. I can just do a shitty job without them just fine. This video is turning out to be a disaster. When it comes to writing, I don't know, bro. I just sat down and write stuff based on my own experiences with this drawing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, okay? And, oh yeah, that reminds me. Speaking of the actual thumbnail of this video, as you can tell, she is not in this sketch. And, there's a good reason for that. These characters I drew, none of them fit into the mold of being properly suited for a thumbnail. So I just spent 4 more hours drawing this random ass bitch yandere edgy emo slime girl knockoff from Hell's Paradise as my thumbnail to get you horny fucks to click. And to be fair, it kinda paid off, I hope. To give some tips when it comes to drawing, I would recommend to look at people better than you. That might sound demeaning, but when you unlock the cheat code of how people use different elements, like perspective effectively, which is done by pretty much overlapping limbs and making them partially bigger, like how I did with this guy here, you will instantly start to take in a lot more knowledge. It will be far more easier for you to visualize what you're going for instead of just imagining, because it takes insane amount of skill to put exactly what you imagine onto the paper. It is just nearly impossible unless you're fucking Da Vinci or this one guy named Kim Jong-un. You need to use reference. First trace it if you need to, and eventually move on to just referencing it. And once you're done with referencing, you can just draw just from the head. And that's where you truly become a liberated artist. I never really use references, ever, aside from like idea references and inspirations, because the same guy, Kim Jong-gi, was a big inspiration for me. He basically implanted the idea of not using references because he once said, if you use references, you become a slave to the reference. It's kinda extreme, but he has a point. It is very difficult to draw something off the top of your head when you are very used to references. That's why so many artists just use references as their main piece before they actually begin the drawing. But let me just be a spiritual guru for you. Something I really appreciate about myself is I call my drawing mine because it comes from the heart. I imagine it from top to bottom whilst having some elements of other things. It needs to come from the heart. Or for cash. Either will work. It's either using references to get better or drawing manga for like 3 years. Literally, my whole 2020 and 2021 was spent on me drawing manga. It was the biggest waste of time in my life. I wish I knew YouTube back then. To just skip ahead a little bit, we're finally at the final stages of the drawing. Now we just need to do the final touches, like shading and inking, and we'll be done. With this one again, I just used the same old whiteboard marker and this one Chinese shader I found. I don't know what that is, but I'm using as a shader. It did a pretty decent job. I usually use a pencil to do my shading because it looks far more realistic and far more dynamic. To be able to have different layers and allow them to blend with each other, it makes your art a lot more better. I know this really nice anime called Akudama Drive. The same director is actually directing Bleach anime right now. And it is such a nice artistic expression of shading and lighting. It is just so good, and when I saw this I was like, oh yeah, lighting and shading can make any shit drawing look somewhat good, because shading in general is something we always see everywhere around us. So if you can capture that well, that shit is gonna pop off. So yeah, it just depends on what kind of style you want to go though. Just take a moment for the channel though. I have a few videos in the work right now. Some of them are already recorded. Wow, look at me, working ahead of schedule? Wow, I know, right? Yeah. But I want to do more stuff for the channel and over the course of summer. Some other stuff like gaming, Reddit videos, documentary types. And I'm also trying to get editing jobs because I really want some money. I might just buy a new equipment and stuff like that. And yeah, I have a really nice summer planned. I hope things go well. And yeah, we're approaching the end of the drawing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of a different one. Not insane fucking glitchy ass editing. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.